Welcome to my YouTube channel and welcome to this week's energy forecast. I'm Louise, I'm an intuitive, and I'm here to share with you my take on what's coming up this week, what energy is around in our cosmic weather, what the planets are doing and how that's going to affect us here on Earth. So how it may be making you feel. So remember that we have the weather, and that's the weather that we turn on the TV and we know whether it's going to rain or shine. And we have the cosmic weather, which is the weather that affects us on a deeper level. So when those planets move and there's different alignments happening in the cosmos, how that affects us internally. So that other weather, the sun affects us, it burns us or makes us brown if we're aware and we've taken precaution to look after ourselves. Cosmic weather, exactly the same. We need to be aware of what's happening, and then we know what's going on a deeper level. We're not stuck in confusion, we're not stuck in old programs. We're like, okay, I know what's going on and I can choose now. We have a choice to work with the energy that's around, to grow, to evolve, to move through certain themes, certain things, to become a greater version of ourselves. So this week coming up, remember or know that we've just hit that midpoint of the year. So we've just gone through the solstice and we're now on the other, on the other end of half of this year. So we've passed that midway point. And with that solstice, there's been there's incredible surge of energy that's come through. And now we're in this second part of the year where I feel like we're really cementing in much of what we've already learned, much of what we've been going through, and the energy is going to kind of intensify. I feel like the second half of this year is quite deep, still very transformational. There's a lot of work for us to be doing right now. So I want you to know this, right? Stuff is coming up for everybody right now. Not to torture you, not to tease you, not to show you that you haven't come that far, not to show you anything bar the universe, the cosmic weather, the whatever is helping you to become the greatest version of yourself. So old patterns, old traumas, old stuff is going to be coming up tenfold to, I would say, almost everybody, actually everybody on the planet right now, to be healed, to be transformed. And it's so important that we do this work right now and step out of the old conditioning, step out of the old programming and really start to do things differently, see things differently, because if not, the trauma is going to feel even more painful and even more. So if you're like many people right now thinking, here I am again, I'm feeling this way, like, you got to sit in it and go, okay, what is it? What's going on? Why am I feeling this way? What is it? How can I find the light in this? How can I move through it in a way that isn't damaging my beautiful soul? How can I change the way I look at this? How can I change these deep feelings of whatever they are? They could be anger, they could be shame, they could be pain, they could be disgust, they could be fear, they could be sadness and suffering. How do I transform this to be my greatest power? Because remember, those deepest wounds, that conditioning, the deepest wounds, we can really change them to be our most significant power. But it takes work, and we have to go through this transformational process. Think of like the butterfly, and in that dark bit, it's really uncomfortable. And I feel like we're constantly doing work. But right now, and it's to do with the alignments happening. We've got a lot of this kind of Pluto energy that wants us to sit in that kind of dark hole and really work it out before we transform into that butterfly. Really have a look at every aspect of every bit of that darkness. As I say, the rest of this year, if you can step up and do this work and change where you need to, shift your perspective, let go of the pain, accept, allow, trust, go with the flow, process, get some help. When we get to this end of this year, it's going to feel a lot easier. If we hold on to this stuff, when we get to the end of this year, God, it's going to feel really uncomfortable. There's a lot of coming up now. Remember that the first part of the year is also around sowing seeds. So whatever seeds you've been sowing for this first part of the year, you're going to see some bloom coming through in the second half of the year. That's how it works. So I'm sure many of you have been really sowing some beautiful seeds. So let's see what comes from that. So it's not all doom and gloom. And I don't think that transformation is doom and gloom, but it's uncomfortable. But it's in the uncomfortable that we grow. It's in that uncomfortable, outside of our comfort zone, in looking at that stuff. We can't hide and, live. We got to face some of this stuff. Yeah, and the universe will bring it to you to face it, because it wants you to let it go. What are the things that we search for? Freedom from attachment, freedom from, anxiety and all that. To just live in trust and allowing and in the flow of this beautiful universe, trusting and evolving and growing and expanding, coming from our heart. Yeah, you're going to have to really practice dropping out of the head and coming into the heart this week and, the next few months. So we've passed that solstice. We're now building up towards the first supermoon, the first full moon of this new season. It's always very significant. It's in Capricorn, so there's, it's very much around the themes around Capricorn. It's deep, it's big, it's, it's dramatic. But the more you do this work, the more you transform, the more you change, the more you shift your perspective, the more you evolve, you rise up. You don't sit in that chaos and that drama and that judgment. The more you take a breath, rise up. And what's going to help you to do that? Looking after yourself, clean diet, clean food, limiting your alcohol and whatever else. And, lots of water, being in nature, cleansing, clearing, meditating, exercising, moving, walking, stretching, connecting to the elements, the sun, the rain, the earth. This is all going to really help you. The more we can do that, the more we can step through, the easier this time's going to be. Yeah, the more rewarding it's going to be. Yeah, and the more we're going to understand. And remember, when we kind of understand what we're going through and what we're processing, and we come out the other side and we go, wow, I didn't behave in that old way. I'm really proud of myself. And then we bring in some beautiful self-love, and that's what we want. We don't want any more self-criticism, self-doubt, negative self-talk. We want to love ourselves. So it's a big week. It's a big time. As I say, we're building up towards that first supermoon on it's the 3rd. So I'll be back in Australia by then. So it'll be Monday, the 3rd of July. I will run a live online session for that to support everybody through that, welcoming the gifts of it and rise up above the challenges and take them on and transform ourselves. So I'll see many of you live online for that. As I say, I will be back in Australia, so that will be, I know that many of you are waiting for me to get back. So yeah, deep, amazing, transformational times. But you've got this. You know what to do. You have every tool in your toolbox to know how to work with this energy, to keep evolving, expanding, finding the light. At the end of every tunnel, there is always the light. Yeah, but if we focus on being in that tunnel, it's going to be tricky. If we look forward, if we look up, we see that light. Or, every step we take is going to get easier. Got to find it. Got to bring that light in. I really recommend as well right now to really detach yourself from that kind of, as much as you can, the 3D, world, because there's a lot of chaos going on there. Please limit your social media. If possible, please don't subscribe to all the different news channels and read everything you possibly can. Just give yourself some peace. Detach. Just look after, this right now. Keep this light and bright. And that is the best thing you can do for our planet, for your brothers and your sisters. Keep shining your light bright. So have an amazing week. I will see many of you online on the 3rd. All the details are easy. Just, hop on. There'll be a link under this. Easy to book in. I've got your back. You've got this. You're not alone. You're not going crazy. You're not going backwards. You're just in that beautiful cocoony space of growth. Big love.